What's going on, baseball fans? How are we doing? So as the season winds down, these playoff races are getting tighter and tighter. So that makes me think, who are some teams that could possibly play spoiler for some of these teams trying to make the playoffs, win the wild card, win the division? So be it. So in this video, I've put together a list of possible spoilers as we head down the stretch to the end of the season. Let's go talk about it. Coming up first, I have the New York Mets. You know what? The Mets, they have fallen out of the race. They are pretty much done now, but they still have some relevant games against some teams that are fighting for a playoff spot. First up, you have the Boston Red Sox. They are in a very tight wild card race as we speak. If we go take a look at the wild card race in the American League right now, the Red Sox are holding firm in that first wild card spot, but you got Toronto right there, and you got the Yankees a half game behind. Oakland's even right there too at 2 games back. So a lot can happen in this wild card race, and with the Red Sox playing them actually tonight and tomorrow, hey, those are 2 big games if you ask me. But it's not just the American League, it's the National League, where if you go take a look at the National League East, division rivals Atlanta, Philadelphia, fighting for that National League East. Atlanta, they have 3 games remaining, and those are the last 3 games of the season. And hey, Philly, they are hot on their tails, only 3 games back, and this race is far from over. Philly has a very easy week this week. Sure, they lost to the Orioles last night, a bummer of a loss for the Phillies, but they got 2 more against them, and then they got a 4-game set with the Pirates as well. But you still have a very important series with the Braves next week, so this NL East is far from over. So the fact that the Mets, they got the Braves for the last 3 games of the season, they got the Red Sox for 2. Hey, those are 5 pretty important games. The Mets could definitely do some damage here in these standings. If you take a look at the Mets, in the month of September, the Mets have actually been pretty good. Their offense ranks 6th. Their starting pitching has actually been pretty decent, ranking 7th with a 3.91 FIP. Yeah, sure, that bullpen's not doing too good this month, ranking only 24th. But you know what? The Mets have some talent. That lineup, it's always hard to pitch to. I mean, when you got guys like Brandon Nimmo, Lindor, Alonso, Conforto, Javier Baez, McNeil, I mean, there's tons of guys all over the place here, and that starting pitching isn't going to be easy either with Marcus Stroman, Walker, Carrasco, Hill at the back end. So this Mets team, they could definitely do some damage to the Red Sox and the Braves. Let's stay in the National League and talk about the Arizona Diamondbacks. What a bummer of a season for the Arizona Diamondbacks. 48 and 102 losses. That's tied for the worst record in Major League Baseball right now, but Arizona still does have some chances to play spoiler. They actually have a lot of chances to play spoiler. They got 3 more games left against the Atlanta Braves. They got the Dodgers for 3, and they're going to be at home against the Dodgers in those games. And they got the Giants in San Francisco. So they got a lot of chances here to win some games. I understand the Diamondbacks are not a great team overall, but hey, division rivals, hey, they can definitely step up their game when it matters most. Sure, the Diamondbacks aren't really ranking all that well in terms of the numbers. 23rd in offense this month, 22nd in starting pitching. The bullpen only 26, but you know what? I still like some of these players on the Diamondbacks. I mean, you got Ketel Marte in there. You got Pavin Smith, who's having a pretty decent rookie season. Still got some decent starting pitchers here. The Diamondbacks, they got a lot of games left overall. You got 9 games left against these teams that are fighting for playoff positioning, or even just fighting to get in the playoffs. If you're looking at the Atlanta Braves, got to fend off those Phillies. The Diamondbacks could definitely do some damage before the season is over. Let's shift over to the American League and talk about the other team that's tied for the worst record in Major League Baseball, the Baltimore Orioles. But the Baltimore Orioles, hey, they got some meaningful games left against division rivals. If we take a look here at the Red Sox schedule, they got 3 games here against the Red Sox, and that's going to be in Baltimore. The Orioles are always a pesky team for the Red Sox, and they got 3 games here at the end of the season against the Toronto Blue Jays. The Orioles can definitely do some damage here. If we take a look at Baltimore this month, Baltimore with the offense, actually not too bad. Middle of the road offense, 16th in offense this month. If we take a look at the starting pitching, only 26th this month. But the bullpen, where is that Baltimore bullpen? 20th on the month. So, yeah, pretty bad. A 7.41 ERA, a 5.60 FIP. Not good numbers at all. But Baltimore, I mean, hey, they got some meaningful games here against division rivals. And I'm telling you, as a Red Sox fan, I have seen plenty and plenty of times where the Orioles have just been so pesky and don't even remind me of 2011, the greatest Red Sox team ever losing to the Orioles in the final game of the season. Don't even remind me. Let's shift back over to the National League and talk about the Colorado Rockies. There is one thing I want to point out with the Colorado Rockies that I wonder if a lot of people even realize this with the Rockies. Do you know that the Rockies are 45-27 at home this year? That's really good. I mean, they are terrible on the road, 25-52 on the road, but a 45-27 home record. They have 6 more games against contenders, 3 against the Dodgers and 3 against the Giants. How many of those games are going to be in Colorado? All 6. Look out for the Colorado Rockies against the Dodgers. They got 3 this week coming up, and we have 3 against the Giants this weekend. I mean, hello, the Rockies could totally play spoiler for these teams, especially with how good they are at home, and considering, hey, they know these teams like the back of their hand. They know exactly what they're going up against, and especially in Colorado, not just because of the home record, but Colorado can always be a tough place to play for any team. Hey, when you're looking at the numbers with Colorado, the offense has been a bit stagnant this month, only ranking 26th. The starting pitching only 24th this month, and for the bullpen, Colorado's bullpen, it's actually not bad. 14th this month. They're 6-2 out of that bullpen this month, a 4.42 ERA, a 4.58 FIP. So not the greatest numbers, but they are getting some wins out of that bullpen this month. So that is one thing to factor in. And I actually want to point out the Colorado Rockies. Their defense this year has been top notch. This month, they are leading it with a 7.5 defensive runs above average. And if we actually take a look, overall at the fielding for the entire year, the Colorado Rockies defense this year has just been fantastic. Do you know that the Colorado Rockies have the best defensive team in all of Major League Baseball? Even better than the Milwaukee Brewers, even better than the St. Louis Cardinals. The Rockies, look at the Rockies. I definitely think they could give a team like the Dodgers a problem, like a team like the Giants a problem, especially considering how tight this National League West is. I mean, these final games are going to be huge for the Giants and the Dodgers because, hey, you want to win that division. You don't want to go into a wild card game. You want to win that division. This division is completely up for grabs. It's pretty much 50-50 at this point who's going to come out on top, but the Rockies could definitely be a difference maker here as we go towards the end of the season. And last but not least, let's talk about, in my opinion, the most disappointing team in Major League Baseball this year, the San Diego Padres. What a disappointing season. They were coming into this season. People were already giving them the crown to win a World Series after a really good offseason, and they're only 76-73. They've had an awful month. If you take, actually, they've had an awful second half going back to July, 11-14 in July, 11-15 in August, 5-11 this month. That is absolutely terrible. But the one thing to point out with the Padres, hey, as bad as they have been in the second half, overall, when you look at their record against the teams that they're going to be going up against here in the final couple weeks here, they got 4 against the Braves, they got 6 more against the Giants, and they got 3 more against the Dodgers. Their record against those 3 teams is 14-17. So yeah, sure, it's not a winning record by any means, but it's not terrible by any means. This Padres team still has a lot of talent. If we go pull up the Padres, sure, they have just been decimated by injuries here. Their depth in the organization is really showing. They actually just got rid of their farm director today, so that was some news if you didn't catch that. But hey, you still got Yu Darvish, you still got Joe Musgrove there. Sure, Blake Snell is going to be out, but they got some guys here who, hey, they could definitely do some things towards the end of the season. The bullpen, they still got some arms in there. And of course, the offense, you still got bats. I mean, as bad as this Padres team has been, you still got Fernando Tatis Jr., you still got Jake Cronenworth, Manny Machado, Adam Frazier. Tommy Pham's been having a really solid season, a pretty underrated season in my opinion. But yeah, the Padres, absolutely. I mean, hey, you know what? You're pretty much out of it at this point. You're 4 games back in the wild card here. So I don't think the Padres, I mean, maybe they got a run left in them, possibly. But that also, goes for my argument as well as to why the Padres could be the best spoiler team here, because they're trying to fight for the playoffs. I mean, they're probably not going to get in, but they're still fighting for it. They're 4 games out, so they're definitely going to play these games as tough as they can. Absolutely. Like I said, you got 3 against the Dodgers. That's going to be in LA. And with the Giants here, you're going to have 3 in San Francisco, but look at these 3 here. You're going to be Or sorry, these are going to be in San Diego here, and then you're going to be in San Francisco to end the season. So, hey, that's a really important season, or a really important series there for the Giants. I mean, the last series of the season. Who knows where the Padres might be at that point? They could be, 2 games out of a wild card spot at that point, so anything could be possible. The Padres, hey, you never know. A team, they could really step it up, especially when they're desperate, trying to get into the playoffs here. And also the Atlanta Braves. They got a few more games against the Atlanta Braves. And if we take a look at that division as well, the Phillies right now only 3 games out. They could definitely cause some problems for the Braves. I definitely think the San Diego Padres can absolutely be a spoiler team because they still have something to play for. They still got a lot of talent. And again, they got 13 more games against these teams that are fighting for the playoffs. The Padres, in my opinion, are the best spoiler team out there for the rest of this season. So those are the teams that I think can play spoiler as the playoff races wind down. Tell me what you think down below. Are there any other teams that could play spoiler for the rest of this season? Let me know. But that's all I have for right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.